Hi everyone, it's Tara here with Create Life Paper Words, and today I'm up on the Crafty channel Surf with the Something Inspirational team doing something fun. I decided for this month's theme that I was going to do a traveler's notebook. So this notebook right here is my notebook that I use for, well, pretty much when I need to have some creative time, but I don't want to work on a 12 by 12, or I don't maybe have my photos for Project Life weekly. So I can just grab this and go to it and just find a photo that I want to scrapbook and just start going. So it works really well for me. I really like that. I mean, nothing is consistent in it, and it's just randomness. That's literally all it is just randomness. So in keeping with this something fun theme, I wanted to bring two parts of fun in. So for me, I really love playing with my gesso and molding paste and stencils and misters, that kind of stuff. For me, that's a lot of fun. So I decided to bring that in on one side of the page. So I'm just using my gesso right now, and I feel like I've just sort of started to figure out all these different mixed media things and when you use what. And I'm definitely not a pro at it, and I definitely play a lot, just play with stuff. But I sort of feel like I'm, getting the hang of when I would use something. So I did decide to go with some gesso just because I wanted this to be a bit shinier and to not absorb into the paper, mainly because it's a traveler's notebook and there's other stuff going on in this, so I didn't want you to be able to see through on the other side of the page. And I grabbed my Studio Calico misters. I absolutely love these, and I find that the colors are really nice and strong. I grabbed a green and a yellow and a blue, and I just randomly spritzed them. There was really no rhyme or reason to where I put them at all. So I'm just letting that dry, and I'm really impatient when it comes to letting things dry. So I'm doing the come on, hurry up. I just want to keep working on stuff. So I at this time decide I need to work on my other side of the page, and I bring in the word fun as well. So this is a photo of my children and their one nephew, or sorry, that would be my nephew, their cousin. I only have one niece and one nephew, and my niece is a bit little to be in the photo. So they were playing out in the cornfield on the very last day of harvest for us, which was at the end of August this year. And they were having so much fun just sort of running into the cornfield and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to do a bit of journaling, but I find in a traveler's notebook that you can only do so much journaling, so I opted to hide it. So it's going to go right under this photo that I have backed on that pattern paper. And I think at this point I decided to screw it and just start using my modeling paste for the stencil. Now the idea was that I wanted the misted background to be not as bold as it is, so I used a thin layer of this modeling paste to go over it. I did at one point have modeling paste in a jar, but I found it dried out really easily, so I'm seeing how this one from Michael's works. It's just I think it's the Artist Loft brand in a tube. So far it's already held up longer than the stuff in the jar had been. And I really like that effect. I used the brick and it just sort of softens it just a tiny bit, and also gives a little bit of dimension and texture too. And I was feeling I needed just a little bit more on the page, and so I went through some of these die cuts that I have from Felicity Jane, and I really can't remember which kit they are from. One of the ones in the summer, I want to say maybe the August one, and I grabbed some twine, and I found these cute little they look like little sequins, but they're a die cut sequin, and so I just strung them along, and I'm gonna do a little tiny banner for that. And I love twine. It's one of my favorite things to use, but I don't use it nearly often enough, I don't think. So just checking to see how long I need it, and then I'm gonna tie some teeny tiny little bows and hope that my spacing is okay. It ended up being really good spacing, which is surprising. I usually have to retie a couple times to get the spacing right, but it just worked out really well today. And then I always use my tiny attacher to attach little banners if I can, because that's just the easiest way to do it. And I gotta trim some ends off. And once I get my banner up, I think that I want to add some more die cuts, but it wasn't really looking right. I do end up adding this remember. I just think it went with what I have on the right side of the page. And then I add a couple little enamel dots because they're super cute, and I thought the colors would go really well with it. I think I did like a dark green and a blue and a yellow. So again, just echoing what I've got with those mists. I quickly did some lines, and I'm doing my journaling, just talking about how these cousins always have so much fun when they get together, and it's always big smiles. So that is it. You can check out the you can check out the Crafty Channel Surf on Facebook. I will link it below. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Create Life Paper Words for both. Bye guys.